Hi, welcome to Tyne Valley Motorhomes. I'm Callum and this is a handover video on the Swift Voyager 564. So as I start the walk around on the driver's side of the vehicle first, the first point you get to is your mains 240 volt connection point. So whether you're charging the battery, your leisure battery, prior to your trip on the driveway, or you're on a site with mains hookup, you would hook it up the same way. So you get your hookup lead, you want to lift the collar and expose the connection and hook it on to the motorhome first. Then connect either the house up if you're home charging or the site post, and do it in reverse order when unhooking so that you're never walking around with a live cable in your hand. This is your gas locker, so LPG, liquid petroleum gas. All your exterior locks open with the habitation key, which has got the Swift emblem on there, and then you would push both catches in to release the door. This is my test bottle on here at the moment, so you'll have to get yourself 2 gas bottles. You can fit 2 6-kilogram propane bottles on it. The motorhome runs off propane, not butane. And what you want to do is you want to put it straight into the holder, but before you put the pigtail on, because this bottle's not staying on, you want to put the strap over the bottle. So there's a special collar, which is this here, which you feed in the back, and it goes over the top of the cylinder with the pigtail off. Strap that down to keep it nice and taut and in place when travelling. And then to connect your pigtail, which is this pipe here which runs from the cylinder to the regulator, it's left to tighten, right to loosen, opposite ways with it being gas. Then you will need an adjustable spanner or a wrench just to nip it up before turning the cylinder on 1 or 2 turns. Once you've turned the cylinder on, press the green stopper here, allows the gas through on the crush valve on the pigtail. 5 to 10 seconds that needs to be held in for, and then always make sure this blue clip, blue, yellow even, is pushed in. If that ever pops out, that is your crush valve on your regulator, which is called a second motion valve, and it needs to be pushed in to allow the gas to come through into the motorhome to use your appliances. Always ensure it's turned off, and always ensure it's safely strapped in before you do start travelling. This is your external shower point, so inside the vehicle or inside the pack you'll have a connection which connects here, and on the other end you'll have a trigger gun. As long as the pump's on, you'll get a pressurised flow of water to hose off the dog, the kids, the bikes, the boots, but that is only cold water. And then at the back you do have your cassette. So your cassette will indicate when it's full, and all you need to do is put your fingers underneath the orange handle here and lift up, slide the cassette out of the vehicle. You can carry it or you can wheel it to the disposal point, which is normally beside your toilet block. And then to empty the cassette, you take the grey cap off the spout, pop that to one side. As you're pouring, press the orange button at the back and it will allow a bit of air in and give it a consistent flow of water. So it means that it empties consistently. Once you've done that, there's always a tap, a bit of water in here, shake and a rinse with the cap back on. Then you would go in with a cap full of chemical, which is blue or green. 120 ml in the cap, into here, and it's good to go back into the motorhome. But if the blade was ever to be left open, the cassette won't come out, but I'll talk more about that once inside the vehicle. On the back panel of the van you do have your high level brake light, bullet styled reversing camera, and then the back panel has been strengthened to take a bike rack. So there's 2 bars already on there. All you would need is a Thule bike rack to fit to those fixture bars. This is where you would fill your water. So again, this is a lockable cap which goes on here, so you can lock it in place. So remove your cap, put your flat end of your hose in there and connect the hose pipe to the tap. You'll need a couple of hose pipe connections, as it's mainly just a brass tap provided by site. If you don't have a hose, there's a power point here for a submersible pump. So that gives 12 volt, one end into here with a cap removed, one end into a bucket of water or an aqua roll like a caravan, and it will suck the water into your freshwater tank. However, on a motorhome you mainly just use the hose. Underneath the French bed at the back of this model, you do have storage. You've got your carpets and bits and pieces, your shower heads there, things that have come from the factory with the vehicle, but you do have storage in there. This is your flue for your boiler system. So as your boiler is underneath the bed, this flue allows out fumes when operating on gas. It does, however, operate on electric, but just make sure when it's operating on gas or both sources together, it's always obstruction free. So if you are putting a full size awning on the side of the van, that it is obstruction free and it allows the fumes out of the vehicle. Underneath here you've got your freshwater drain. So if you've put on a source of contaminated water, you're not using the van over the winter, you want to make sure it's all drained down and the tap's left open, or you're simply just not using it for a couple of weeks, open the tap and allow the water out. You've got your awning, which we've fitted, so it's an F45 awning. We can show you that on collection. That's a dealer fit. Awning light, 2 fridge vents, an external gas point. So if you wanted to use a Kadak or an external barbecue without carrying a separate bottle inside the van, you can connect to the gas supply of the vehicle, which is obviously the bottle from the other side. So all you need to do is take the cover off, get your quick release connection which slots in here, secure that with a Jubilee clip to some rubber gas pipe and secure the other end with a Jubilee clip before turning on the valve, which will allow gas to your Kadak for outdoor cooking or external barbecue. Down here you've got a grey tap, which is your dirty water. So this is whatever water you've used in your sink, whether that's dishes water, cups of tea, shower water, hand basin water. On the way out of your site you've always got a disposal point, so a motorhome service bay. You would drive over it and you want to crack that tap open and allow the water out. You should never really be driving around with any water in your wastewater because it's dirty. Once it's dirty you can't do anything with it. You're just going to add weight to the vehicle for no apparent reason, where you can use that in your payload with your bits and pieces on board, and your engine will use more fuel. So to get the best out of the payload and consumption, always drain this off before you leave site. Coming on to the Ford now, so your tyre pressures, or should I say your weight plate for your second stage Swift, these are your weight plates. So 3.5 ton gross vehicle weight, 4,250 if you were to put a tow bar on. So with this one particular vehicle being the auto version, as it's an option, so if you are watching this video for the model and yours is a manual, you can forget about this. This one's an auto. It has a 750 kilogram towing weight because it has the power shift Ford gearbox. If it was a manual it would have a little bit more. To fill up with fuel, pop your fuel filler in there and you can fill with diesel. No cap to remove, just pop it straight in. It's an easy fill system. And underneath, because it's a new styled engine, a diesel engine, it does take AdBlue, so it will illuminate on the dash when AdBlue is getting low and give you a 1,000-mile countdown. Go to the pump and buy it because it's cheaper than buying it in the drums. It's about 120 a litre, and this is a 22 litre capacity tank on a Transit, and it'll probably take around a good 18 litres once the light comes on. So fill it up on the pump. Is cheaper and more cost effective, but make sure you do fill it up when the light comes on, which it will illuminate on the dashboard. Engine battery for the Ford is underneath the driver's seat like it always has been on the Transit. Tyre pressures is on the other driver's door slam panel. And then to open the bonnet, you need to use the key. So like I was saying, to open the bonnet using the Ford key, it goes above the Ford badge on the grille. Turn it to your left to pop the bonnet, and then to release it to your right. And under here you've got your screen wash, your oil filler, your brake fluid, your oil dipstick for checking your levels, your coolant, and then for giving or receiving a jump start, this is your earthing point here on the side of the engine hoist, and your positive is here, so you put your jump pack or jump leads onto there to charge or to jump start the engine battery. To operate your Swift 12 volt control panel, to turn the vehicle on, you put your master switch here, which is your master power switch, which gives 12 volt if you are not hooked up, or if you are hooked up, you'll get the light from the post to the van, which will mean you are receiving mains to 30 volt, so all 3-pin plugs within the vehicle will work, and mains appliances. This one here is your interior lights, and they all are individually switched around the van. Press here, you can view your levels of your vehicle battery, your leisure battery, your fresh water and your wastewater capacity. Making sure that you unhook the vehicle first to get a true reflection of your batteries, and always make sure that the leisure battery is selected, which is the battery you want to use when you are using the motorhome. However, if you wanted to charge your vehicle battery over the winter, all you need to do is turn it to the vehicle and it will charge the engine battery. But when using it, it's very important that it's on the leisure battery, as this is the auxiliary battery designed to power the motorhome. Turn your pump on here, so make sure you've got enough water on board. Turn your pump on, and then as soon as you open the taps, you'll get a pressurized flow of water. And you do have your tank heaters, so if you're away in the winter and it is going to freeze, pop these on overnight and it'll stop the water from freezing in the tanks below the vehicle. To operate your Truma digital control panel, this here is your on-off button, which you would do a long press on and it'll turn itself completely off, and then press and it'll turn itself on. To enter the menu, as this is on, but you want to get into the menu, you need to press enter. And here you do have a motorhome with a thermometer flashing. This is your interior temperature of the vehicle. So click on here. Off if you are away in the summer and you didn't want any heating, or you can turn it all the way up to 30 degrees, which sets the thermostat. To save the temperature set, press enter and then move along. And this is your water setting. So if you've got water in the boiler, water in the freshwater tanks, you can put your hot water system on. So you've got Eco, which is 40 degrees of heating the 10 litres of water. Hot, which is 60 degrees of heating the 10 litres of water. Or Boost, which is a half an hour setting, which turns off the heating and prioritises the water. So for this, we'll just say hot, as you want the heating and hot water to run together, whereas on Boost it turns the heating off and prioritises the water. Next, you've got your energy source. So you'd use gas if you were wild camping and didn't have any electric on board the vehicle. Mixture 1, which is 750 watts of electric and gas. Mixture 2, which is 1850 watts of electric and gas. You'd use that if you're in the winter, and this will boost the temperature of the vehicle quicker than using just electric for the first 20 minutes or so. EL1, which is 750 watts of electric, and EL2, which is 1850 watts of electric. Use EL2 on most sites throughout the UK. On smaller CL sites and airs, you may have to turn it down to EL1. And then at the end, you've got your fan, so you can have that on Eco or High, and that is just a 12 volt fan setting. Eco uses a lot less of the leisure battery. High uses the full fan speed, so you can hear it a little bit more, so you might want to turn it down to Eco when sleeping. Time here, you can so you can put a timer on for the heating to come on and off. Time on the main display panel, and then in the settings, if you scroll all the way down to reset, if you ever get a warn triangle that won't disappear, press reset. It'll say preset, press enter again, and then it'll completely turn the panel off, and you'll have to go in and set the temperature, the water, the energy source and the fan speed again. anything above the line, so you've got your hot water, your heating on there with a gas flame, hot water's on, you're on 2 kilowatts of electric as you've got 2 electric symbols lit up, and your fan is on eco, so it tells you without even going in that your heating system is on. So in the kitchen area you do have 3 gas burners and 1 electric hot plate on mains 230 volts, so you do need to be hooked up to use the electric hot plate, which is this one here, and always make sure it's knocked off and you haven't knocked the control before you hook up. Make sure everything's cool enough before you put the glass lid down, but if you weren't using the electric you'd have to use your gas. So you've got 3 light gas rings there, and underneath you've got your grill, underneath your grill you've got your oven. Any parts for your oven and grill and hob, all your details are here on the sticker provided on the side of the oven. Storage underneath. Storage in this cabinet underneath the sink with a sink cover and a draining board here. Cutlery tray. And then at the bottom, just in here, you've got a blue, a white and a green gas manifold. This is your gas manifold with your gas isolation taps. Should there be any problems with gas, turn the bottle off to be safe because you're isolating the source of gas. However, each gas tap, blue, white and green, will supply gas to a certain item in the vehicle. There'll be a sticker in here somewhere as well which tells you you'll be able to turn off the appliance that you think is not working properly or leaking gas if it ever should. However, these are mainly for when the vehicle is annually habitation serviced. Turn your bottle off is the best advice I can give you, as it isolates the main source of gas, so you know that no gas is getting through to the vehicle. Dealer fit microwave, so there's a microwave being put in this motorhome by us, which the plug is at the top. So if this microwave ever causes you any trouble, you can isolate the plug, stop the power at the microwave. And you've also got in here your MPPT Truma solar charge controller. So that is charging your leisure battery. However, the leisure battery will only charge off the solar panel when it is not hooked up, because it can't compete with mains 230 volt. As mains hookup is the bigger voltage applied, and you do have a little fuse on the bottom there, so if that ever stops flashing or giving you light, just check that that fuse hasn't blown. Plate rack, storage this side, and you do have 2 230 volt sockets, a light for your overhead lockers, kitchen lights here. And you've also got your drop down table switch and a 10 amp fuse for the drop down table as well. So on the back of the Swift Voyager 564 you've got your French bed, which has a Duvet memory foam mattress. A mains 230 volt plug, and your bedroom light is up here with a handy ledge on the top of the headboard. Space for a TV in your bedroom with a 12 volt TV point and 2 30 volt sockets. Storage in here, another 230 volt plug. You can dim these lights down as well, should you wish, by just pressing and holding. And that is your bedroom lights. You've got storage underneath the bed as well, so if you lift the bed up, you've got storage which you can access from outside on the locker door here. You've got a lot of storage in here. I'm not going to isolate drain the boiler down here because I want to use it. lift it up. So above the fridge is where your TV aerial is located. And at the back you've got a Vision Plus TV booster, which is an amplifier which amplifies the TV signal. So at the moment you'll see that it's got a red light on it, which is where your signal finder light is. And it's showing that we've got a very weak signal, if we've got a signal at all. To improve this, first you can try and boost. So you've got a little button here, turn it and you can boost the amplifier and it's gone to green, which means we've got a signal. If that was still weak, you can adjust the aerial. So loosen the white nut off, push the stem of the aerial up and tighten to hold the aerial slightly above the van, and then use the toggle on the bottom to direct the aerial, and that will tilt the aerial from side to side, front to back, as it's a directional aerial. But always make sure that before you travel, the aerial is pulled firmly into the vehicle and tightened, because you don't want the wind to damage the aerial. So located underneath the bench seat, the lounge bench seat, on the driver's side of the vehicle, at the very back is where your Sergeant power supply unit is. So this is the EC400 unit, and in here you've got your system shutdown button, which is a 12 volt power kill switch for your leisure battery. You've got your fuses, which are all listed what they do here. So if you look at that there, you can see what fuse does what. Do just carry a spare set of fuses with you. You can get a blister pack of fuses off Amazon, eBay, and just carry them in the van just in case a fuse does blow. You can replenish the fuse. But when the fuse does blow, where it's a green light, you'll get a red light and it'll tell you which fuse is blown. Here you've got your main trip tester, so if you think you're not on power, best way to check is trip the vehicle. If the vehicle trips, you're receiving power. If it doesn't, you're not receiving power, so check where you're getting the power from. And then you do have your heating and hot water switch, so make sure that's switched on to use the Truma control panel. And you've got your charger, which charges your leisure battery from mains hookup. So now in the washroom, to operate the toilet, ensure that the pump is on, and you'll be able to press this blue button here, which gives you fresh water from your main freshwater tank. So flush it first, put a small amount of water in, helps lubricate the seal between the top of the cassette and the bottom of the toilet. And then before you use it, you want to open the blade, which is this grey lever here. So slide that to your right, opens a hatch, everything goes into the cassette. Once you've used the toilet, give a good flush. If you've got any pink bowl cleaner, put so much in a spray bottle, dilute the rest with water, spray the bowl and flush before closing the blade after use. The blade needs to be closed to get the cassette out the outside of the van. Otherwise, if that's left open, the cassette's engaged and it won't come out. But you'll get 3 green lights underneath the diagram of the cassette here, which indicates that it is full on the back there. You've got your shower with your duct board at the bottom, so that does just lift out to clean, but it's better for bearing weight, and there's 2 plug holes, top and bottom, for getting rid of the water once you've had a shower. Ensure that your shower screens are tied back before you travel, and when you winterize the van, which is where you want to eliminate all the water, so you'll do the freshen the waste outside, you do all the taps within the van, leave them open in the middle position of the mixer tap. Don't forget about the shower. So what you want to do with the shower is you want to remove the shower head, and so unclip the shower head from the hose, put the hose down in the shower tray and leave the mixer tap open. It'll stop any water from sitting in this pipe here and freezing and causing any damage to it. And just be careful with what you clean your shower tray out with, that it's not bleach and it's no harsh scourers, because you may damage the finish of the shower tray. So just use microfiber cloth, Dettol spray, Fairy Up liquid's good enough just to give it a quick wipe out, but nothing harsh to damage the finish. Toiletry cabinet, some more toiletry cabinet underneath the sink. washroom lights here on the side of the sink vanity unit. And this is just showing that your water system's working as your pump's engaged there, and you've got on hot there, and the water is starting to get warm. Just beside the washroom door, if you open this door, this is your wardrobe. So you've got wardrobe hanging space, and then you've got 2 shelves so you can put your bits and pieces in here. So this is just showing that your hot water system's working. So as you can see, the steam coming off the water is very hot and up to temperature. So to make the front lounge into a bed, using the drop down switch here, you'll be able to bring the table down. Table stops in its lowest position. Then you would pull the tabletop support out, and you want to make sure that the table is as far across here as possible. So push it up, put it up, turn it over, lift these cushions up. There's 2 stoppers, which is where the table is held on this side of the seat. And then all you need to do is pull your base cushions forward. So base cushions forward. These 2 backrests would drop in. And then base cushions forward again on this side. This has a little secret pull-out compartment with a leg, which helps keep this base cushion secure. And then that would go at the back there as well. So make sure it's all nice and flush. Like that. And there you have your double bed. So as Swift have a berth for belts policy, there's 2 hidden travelling seats under the lounge. So if you take all your cushions off, you've got a seat back, and you've got this big black knob here as well. So if you pull that back, you'll be able to pull the seat back rest up. You've got 2 of these hard backed. They go like that and clip onto the frame and fill the space. And then you need to use the base cushion onto there, and it velcros on, and the backrest onto here. And there you have 1 forward facing travelling seat, and you've got 2, 1 on each side of the van. And on the footwell, just pull that board in, and then you'll be able to sit on the seat and have a forward facing travelling seat. They also are Isofix, so if you're travelling with children or grandchildren, their car seats will be able to clip straight onto the Isofix points, which are bolted into the chassis, so they're all crash tested and safe for children's car seats. Located underneath the French bed on this model is where your boiler is. So your boiler heats the vehicle and also heats 10 litres of water up at any one time. So it holds 10 litres of water within the water cylinder of the boiler. It's very important that when we're experiencing frost, you drain the boiler off. So that's any time from the back end of October to March, just to protect the boiler against freezing. And the best way to drain it down is, there's a little toggle here, so you would lift that up and you'll hear the water escaping underneath the van. Leave that up in position when you're not using the van over the winter to stop the water from freezing, and then when you come to reuse it, if you just flick that back down, so that's shut the system so you can then fill it with water. But let's go back to winterizing. So you've you've opened that up like so. You've opened your fresh and your waste taps from outside. You've opened all your taps within the vehicle, so kitchen sink, hand basin sink. You've removed the shower head from the shower hose and lay the pipe in the shower tray just to allow any water out. And then you've turned your pump on for 10 seconds to clear any water that's in any lines or in the filter of the pump itself to drain out. Once you've done 10 seconds, turn the pump off, and then your system is completely drained for the winter. When you come to reuse it for the season ahead, you want to pop this back down. You want to shut your taps inside the van and shut your fresh and your waste outside the van, and put your hose pipe in and fill it with water. Once you've got water in, turn your pump on and go to the cold side of the tap first. This is when the water starts transferring from the freshwater tank underneath the van into this tank here, which is your boiler. So it's going to take 10 litres straight away to fill your boiler. So once on the cold side you'll get a pressurised flow of water, on the hot side it'll cough and splutter and make all sorts of strange noises for a few minutes. So that can be anywhere up to 5 minutes. Once you've got a pressurised flow off one tap, do them all, and then your system is primed. But all it's doing is it's pushing the air out the tap and filling the boiler with water. But make sure it is drained down over the winter and the water isn't left in here, because if frost damage did break your boiler, it's not covered under warranty. It's your responsibility as the owner of the vehicle to protect the boiler against frost damage and making sure it's drained down.